you see things that happen in the community, right? Like I said, Guam throws one of the biggest tournaments out that way called the Mariana's Open. And I was brought out there 2-3 times to compete in their black belt adult open, and like names like Felipe, Pena, Keenan, Cornelius, and all these guys. I was in that hat of people that they brought out, like these super high level tournaments. Like, dude, sweet, I'm in. Like I'll fight whoever, and I've done it, but it was all like, I remember we're all together. Like just how they made us feel like we're part of everything. And to the point where we're on the local news, and that's how much they appreciate not only their athletics and their involvement, but they put such exposure out there. And I'll never forget the first time I did the Mariana's Open, and all these big names were out there, and this is when I was competing like 20 tournaments a year, so it was crazy. And I go to Guam, and I'm seeing myself on the news, I'm hearing it on the radio, and I'm like, whoa, this is wild. Like, they don't do that out here.
Yeah.
You'll never hear about a local jiu-jitsu tournament on the news here. Like, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't matter who it is, right? And it's sad, but it's crazy, but that's how much they appreciate their stuff out there. And I think it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish the radio celebrated jiu-jitsu out here. We're deep out here in the Bay Area.
Very deep. Oh my God. And that's what's funny is like, people don't know how deep the roots of jiu-jitsu here are, like in the Bay. Like, it was so thin before, but that's what started, this huge expansion of things versus like SoCal, where it's like there's a jiu-jitsu gym off every exit off the 405.
Right.
There's probably more than one. And I was just in LA the other day, and I was like, man, there's jiu-jitsu everywhere. Yeah. But, I think up here we are so good in regards to not only our level of jiu-jitsu, but it's also because of how we're not just off every exit, like you're gonna get a good source of jiu-jitsu out here,
right?
And it's even funnier. Like, I was laughing with some friends, and we're all black belts now. We're all laughing. Like, at some point, we all were on the same team, and we were all all together. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even as far back as like my generation. Like, we were all on one team, and there was like 3 academies in all of NorCal. And, I would never change my early years for nothing. I started 20 years ago. I hit 20 years this year.
Wow.
And
congratulations.
So, thank you. And I'm like, man, it's been a wild ride, but I love it. And I wouldn't change it for anything, just because, all the things I've done.
Well, that's one of the reasons why, like, I am shifting the podcast to be more like about Bay Area jiu-jitsu and our roots, you know, and just like you said, it was 3 academies, and Caesar and Half were together.
One. Yeah, they were one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then what were the other 2 academies out here?
I believe. Oh God,
I know the guy who put on Jiu-Jitsu by the Bay.
Sergio Silva. Sergio Silva was.
Well, there's Sergio Silva, but I'm also thinking of the other guy. He's like a tall.
Oh, you mean the one who puts on the BJJ tour out in Santa Cruz?
Yeah, BJJ tour. Yeah. So Sergio Silva, that's right. He does do Jiu-Jitsu by the Bay, and then BJJ tour. Yeah. Which it used to be called the U.S. Open.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the BJJ Tour is like the name of the overlying company, but then they put on the U.S. Open, they put on the American Cup, all these little things, and they've been around forever too. Yeah. And I think it's great. But just like thinking back again to those early years, it's like you were like amazed if you saw a color belt on the mat. Like, whoa, wow, that guy's a blue or a purple. He's God. And then if you had the opportunity to have a black belt on the mat, man, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was a gem.
It was just like one of those things where like, wow, I was started with all these people that weren't that belt level, but it didn't matter. Like, we didn't know any better. We were just all tough. And then now, like, I have 30 or so of my own black belts, and you go into any of my classes, there's at least 5, and it's just, I think this generation now has such better exposure and introduction to the art
and access
to information based off of hands-on experience in your gym or the internet
online. Oh my God, let's talk about that, because this makes me feel so old now.
Oh God.